Hello everyone, welcome to a tier list. It's been forever. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it's gonna be an Assassin's Creed tier list. Or you like to say the joke, Assassin's Creed. Creed. Assassin's Creed. So we're doing this in order. Or we could not. It doesn't matter which one. You could say any of these games are good or shit. Now, obviously, we're gonna start off with some games that are just not good. Not good. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Not Assassin's Creed, man. It is not. It's literally a tier that I created that is like, it's for games that are just not great. Like, it's like, this is not Assassin's Creed. This is not. And it just doesn't belong there. I mean, yeah, it's a great setting and all, but it just doesn't work. I mean, what's the point in playing this? I mean, like, obviously, it's a great setting, but, like, do you have to be a fucking demigod? Like, seriously? Like, then, like, yeah, you actually play as a fucking demigod. And you know what's even worse about this is, like, it's all about the character, and it's basically the Isu. It's like an Isu game at this point. If you don't know what the Isu is, they are those that came before, and they're an ancient civilization that existed before me, everybody else on this planet, and basically it's a whole fictional shit. You know, it's not real, obviously, because it's a fictional thing. But the thing is that this game takes place during the freaking ancient Greek war that took place, and it's definitely not Assassin's Creed. And also, it's not good. Valhalla is not an Assassin's Creed. It does connect. It does have connections to Assassins. However, the biggest downside with it is how long the game is, and it's just not beatable. It's not beatable for everybody. This game's not for everyone. However, I will say why. The PG games are, or not the PG games. The RPG games are easy, in a sense. They are easy, actually. Because if you want to experience Assassin's Creed for the first time, go play Assassin's Creed 2, or play these garbage, not, or play these like RPG trilogy games. Or I like to say, I don't know. But obviously, obviously, I know I made a video before this, like 3 years ago, and my opinions have changed since that video. And it was on a fucking phone too. It wasn't, or an iPad, or not an iPad, a phone or a fucking tablet. Not a good video, to be honest. Okay, what should I put in there? Liberations is like interesting, but also it's just not my cup of tea for Assassin's Creed. Yeah, it came on a PSP. Yeah, it's not great, but it's just not my suitable Assassin's Creed. It's not really that great for a DLC. Yeah, the setting isn't really that interesting to me. Obviously, I mean, yeah, she may be. I know we're playing as a female protagonist here. I don't. I think her name's Aveline or something. I'm trying to say her name, but yeah, I think I kind of said it right. Even though you actually like, what's interesting about it is that yeah, you can do different. You can switch between two outfits too, or costumes, which is quite interesting. But it's just not really. So Assassin's Creed Black Flag is basically you play as, the quartermaster, Adewale. I remember Adewale. I know I shouldn't be doing this in order, but who cares? Adewale is like, obviously these are like kind of like tie-ins to like games, but Assassin's Creed 4 Black, not Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed So this is Far Cry. So this is like Far Cry. So in Freedom Cry, you find like the wreckage of Jackdaw. You save slaves from slavery. You do all kinds of stuff. It's and he uses a friggin' like weapons and like machete and shit. I mean, he kind of looks like a badass. So I'm not gonna put in solid. I'm gonna put it as like a meh for me because it's not. It's not. It's just not that really appealing to me. Like completely. The only good tie-in game that we're gonna talk about is this game. Like, it's a solid game, but it's not. I have changed my opinions about it too. Like, you could say it's almost goated, but to me, actually, yeah, I mean, I guess it could be almost goated. The good things about Assassin's Creed Rogue is that it literally, it's a clone of the fourth game, but it has some minor upgrades to it. Especially, and also the story is different between this game, but it also has Canada in it. It has our country in it, just like Black Flag when the modern day when you're in Montreal as some Abstergo employee, but which is shittier than being Shay Patrick Cormac exploring parts of Canada, especially St. John's, which is very nice, and obviously, which is a plus. But Rogue's setting is very nice, and the story's great too. I like playing as the Irish assassin, Irish Templar Shay Patrick Cormac. Yes, he becomes a Templar. Spoilers: he originally wasn't. Well, I mean, he originally was an assassin. So when he started the game, but he switched his sides during the war, the 7 Years' War. And for me, it's almost like goated. This game is underrated though, because it's an underrated game. Even though it's not a long game, which is the only downside about it, but it's worth trying. It's almost goated for me in terms of an Assassin's Creed. Syndicate is not the best. Okay, it's not the greatest, but it's still Assassin's. It's great. Yeah, it's cool to use guns and kidnap people and use a train as a hideout, which I can understand why. But there's a DLC to this that's really interesting, where you're dealing with Jack the Ripper. Then there's some World War One stuff in this game too. It's always like you tease like certain events, like Assassin's Creed Unity, for example, had World War Two part of it basically. Now, obviously, we're gonna put Assassin's Creed 2 in GOAT because it's still one of the best games ever. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you could say the same thing. Both games are still good, no matter how you have Ezio's. I mean, Revelations is one of the weaker titles, but it's a solid. I would say that. Assassin's Creed 3. Or we can go back talking about, Assassin's Creed 1, but I'm not going to do Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 1. Assassin's Creed 3 is quite interesting, actually. You play as a Native American, which is cool. I mean, it's fun to play this game, even if let's just say you're part Native or you're a descendant of Native ancestry. I'm talking about that stuff. It's really kind of crazy, but obviously I don't have any Native ancestry, but I do have Irish and French and German. Yeah, German. But we don't need to talk about geology. Geology here. We're gonna talk about these characters. Connor is like one of the tallest assassins. He's the only person in the games that use a tomahawk, and that's the specialty of that, is he uses a tomahawk and we never use it again, which is really fucking sad that we never get to use a tomahawk ever again. Or maybe we do. I have no fucking idea. But Assassin's Creed 3 really was was iconic too for me because I remember like growing up, this game was coming out. I was like 12, and this game was quite something. It also was the end of a certain character's saga, or led to the end of a character, an important character, which I'm not going to talk about because I already know who it is, and I'm not going to spoil it because we know that he was in the first game and then he all the way up to 3, and we know what happened to him. He saved the world in 2012, and we're still here. But honestly, to me, it is a solid game, but it has its flaws. Although the combat is one of the best parts of it. It doesn't have the best parkour. Assassin's Creed Unity has everything. It's underrated. It deserves to be. I could say it's goated, but you know what? It's up there. It's almost goated. It's gonna go the same as Unity. Not Unity. Rogue. Sorry, but Unity had its own problems from the start. But over time, the game itself improved. Yeah, Arno may be not an iconic character, but he tried to be. They tried to make him kind of try to be like the Ezio character, but it just didn't work. However, we can understand every single character struggles except the Fry twins here in Syndicate because they don't really have a tragic backstory. Actually, they do, but you don't see any tragic shit in the game. All we know is that their dad was dead. So, sadly, Assassin's Creed 4: Black Flag is, I would say, one of the best pirate games, but it belongs in GOATed for its own reasons, and it's different. You don't have to. Obviously, Edward was quite something else. In terms of what he was able to be. He started off as a pirate, or privateer, but he became, eventually, he infiltrated the Templars pretty early on, and then he became part of the Assassins later on, and it worked. It worked for him. He was more of a suited pirate assassin. He wasn't a master assassin or anything, but he was quite skilled. In some ways. Even a good captain, too, for a ship. Unfortunately, his own ship was no more, and so was him, because I know what happened to him. I'm not going to spoil it. Now we get to Assassin's Creed Origins. Origins is... Bayek is a relatable protagonist as well. But unfortunately, he doesn't get a trilogy. But instead, the DLCs were good in some way, in some degree. But it was. But the thing was with Assassin's Creed Origins is it has its own. The stealth wasn't okay. Obviously we can talk about stealth, and obviously Odyssey's stealth is shit. You don't have to be stealthy anyways. You can just kill the guards anyway and be done with it because you're a demiguard after all. Valhalla's stealth wasn't really there, but obviously Origin's stealth was so-so, I guess. You have to be stealthy sometimes, and other times you don't really have to be. You can just be whatever you can do. But obviously, this game is, I'd say, probably almost goated. Black Flag you put as goated. People would debate if it's goated or not. But to me, its setting perfectly suits the character as well, and that's what I said about Edward. But Ezio's games were pretty good, just except the last one, he kind of wasn't. It's not the best. But now we are off to the 2 final games, and these 2 games kind of have some resemblance. One game is basically that just came out this year, and it took some inspiration from the original. However, we will talk about Mirage for a second. But we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed 1. Assassin's Creed 1 has a great setting, obviously. It's what started every single game, and obviously its inspiration was Prince of Persia. Where they got it from, Prince of Persia. But obviously, Assassin's Creed 1... it's not a mad game, it's not an almost, it's not a goated, it's a solid. It's a solid for its own reasons. And obviously, I could probably, I could make changes, in this. I could probably put, like, Black Flag and Almost Goated, but... fuck, I'm... The outfits in Rogue were really good, but... you know what? Unity's parkour is great. The setting's great and everything, but Arno's like the biggest drop off for me, so I'm gonna probably put that in solid instead. It's just Arno's not that he's young, but he gets matured towards the end. Last but not least, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now it has some things that it has, some interesting things. Like they brought back some things like you can be able to throwing knives again. You can do all sorts of other things. They brought in one of the things from Assassin's Creed 1 where you're able to hide, like those things that are on the rooftops. They brought those back. But not everything was back. There's one feature that was missing in this entire game, and I noticed it. I don't know what feature that was. And so in Assassin's Creed 1, and Assassin's Creed 2, I'm pretty sure in the other games too, I know, but like in Assassin's Creed 1, you were able to grab and throw a fucking guard. And that was the missing feature out of the entire game. One of the missing features was to be able to grab and throw a guard. I remember doing that in Assassin's Creed 2, and it was so fun. Just grabbing and throwing a guard off the rooftops was fun. I would always do, I would either do that or use throwing knives to kill them. And I would always do that. In Assassin's Creed Mirage, I either had the ledge kill, which you would even do in the original anyway, or you would just have to kill them from behind, or you're going to have to come up with other ways to just simply kill a guard on top of the roof. You can't grab them and throw them, and that's kind of one of the sad things that is not in Mirage. However, I'm almost done this game. Basim is an interesting character. However, he does bring up his dad quite a bit in the game, and he starts off as basically a street thief, obviously. But I will say is give Mirage a try. Play Mirage. It's worth playing, to be honest. I think so. I mean, the stealth is better, actually. The stealth is really it has improved, and you have to be very careful when it comes to guards. Guards can fuck you up so bad. I had to deal with that a few times, but and obviously this game is actually good because there is the dying. You can dye you can use dyes for your outfits. You can use costumes as disguises or not. I mean, it's such a great thing. I mean, bring some things old from the game back. It's great, and also you can be able to blend in crowds again. You can sit on like benches and pass time. It's pretty nice, actually. It makes sense, and I mean, obviously, it's better than Valhalla, in my opinion. I think it's like... I mean, I could say it's better than the first game, but it's still... I mean, I like the length of the game as well, and I do like certain elements, and I think that... I mean, killing 5 people instead of just killing so many things in Valhalla, like members of the Order of the Ancients. Yeah, you actually kill 5 members. And I'm not going to give you guys the 5 members, because I only know them so far, but, like... I'm going to put Mirage... Because it's an Assassin's Creed, and yes, you play as a hidden one, and you play... Which is an assassin, who is Basim, and... I can't... It's not... I would say, for now, I could say it's solid. One of the things that Mirage will never have is being able to grab and throw people. But it's only one feature. However, there's multiple things to do, and obviously, collecting stuff wasn't bad. I enjoyed collecting. the treasure and stuff like that, gear pieces and stuff for doing puzzles and all sorts of things. But also like honestly, I think it's almost goated. I mean, I could put it in solid if I want. I mean, it's a solid game. I mean, it's not. It's not almost goated, but it's a solid game nonetheless. Because yes, some people like it, some people don't, but I understand. It's a game that really got me interested because I got super interested in it. And it felt like an Assassin's Creed game again. Again, it did. It felt like an Assassin's Creed game. It did, and even if it had the RPG stuff to it, kind of, but it still had more of an Assassin's Creed feel. It did. So I mean, obviously, honestly, like if you haven't played any of these, you need to play them. Like seriously. I mean, yeah, tailing missions are not fun, but you gotta try to have patience and think. Use your head when you're stealthing and killing and planning your shit when you're playing these games. When it comes to playing these, I mean, especially how you assassinate people. A lot of these games have basically historical settings. So, yeah, I mean, I hope for more future historical settings for Assassin's Creed. So I hope you guys enjoy this tier list, and I'll see you guys for more, obviously. And yeah, I think that actually before we go, I'm gonna put Black Flag in almost goated. I mean, it is still a good game, but I think otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.